Hey everyone, in today's lesson, we're going to be doing 2.8 designing a roller coaster. You guys are going to get to be able to design and draw your own roller coaster, and based on your design, we're actually going to be able to calculate the roller coaster's energy at different points in the track, and knowing that, we'll also be able to figure out how fast it will be going at those points in the track. So, this is kind of a 2-day activity. The first day is really just understanding the assignment and drawing and designing your roller coaster. And then our next class, we'll be going through and actually calculating the energy at 8 different points of your coaster. All right. So, a couple things that we're going to be looking for with your coaster is how much potential energy does it have at different points? How much kinetic energy does it have? What's its total energy? What is its height at different points? How fast it's moving, its velocity, and what is the mass of the cart that's on the roller coaster. Now, for this particular activity, we want to draw it in a real life scale. So in order to do that, we are going to be designing a roller coaster kind of with some large monuments, some large building in the background, just to kind of give it a sense of scale. So before I kind of go too much further into the directions, I'm going to just show you guys some examples of what our end products will kind of look like. All right. So one thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose some sort of world monument, kind of have in the background to, again, just give our roller coaster a sense of scale, because we want to actually make it right as tall as a real life roller coaster, obviously scaled down to a paper version size, right? See a couple different examples here. One with the pyramid in the background, Statue of Liberty in the background, and Big Ben. All right. So let's go over what we need. What we're going to do is we're going to create a blueprint. So essentially just drawing out the roller coaster track. We are going to add a little bit of color just to make it clear on, just make our roller coasters look a little bit nicer. We're going to make sure that all our measurements are done in meters. And in part 2, day 2, we'll kind of go over how to do the calculations. All right. So looking at page 2, there's a couple of initial things that we want to know, right? Everyone's roller coaster is going to be the same for a couple particular points, but then after that, they can be very unique. Right? You can add all sorts of different twists and heights, etc. So everyone's roller coaster, just to make the math a little bit easier, everyone's roller coaster is going to be about 1,000 kilograms in mass. When I say roller coaster, I'm talking about the cart that's going on it. You should define the height of your very first hill, right? We kind of watched a roller coaster video, knowing that the first hill is always going to be your tallest part of your roller coaster. So you want to define how tall do you want it to be. Now for everyone, the bottom of that first hill should be essentially on the ground, right? 0 meters, right? So you start really, really, really high on that first hill. And then your roller coaster is going to go down, 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 all the way to the ground, right? 0 meters. Again, just to give your roller coaster a sense of scale, I want you guys to choose a monument, a real life monument, just kind of show like how tall your roller coaster really is. So I have a few different options here, right? You can see there are varying sizes. You can also feel free to research your own, right? If you do research your own monument, just make sure that you are looking up the height of it in meters. Again, I have a few local ones like the Tacoma Narrows Bridge and the Space Needle. Just give you some examples of ones that you may have seen. But of course, you can choose any of these. All right. This data table for points A through H, you don't need to worry about this yet until you've drawn your roller coaster. Okay. So I'm going to kind of go over how to get started. Now, you guys have 2 different graph papers, right? So one where the grid is a little bit larger and wider, and one where the grid is a little bit smaller, right? So you can use either. The key thing is you want to define your scale, right? So each square should equal a certain amount of meters, right? So for this particular grid, right, I think there are about like 30 squares going this way. So if you made every square 1 meter, the maximum height your roller coaster could be would be 30 meters, which isn't very tall, right? Versus if you made every square 2 meters, right, your maximum height could be 60, right? You could go up by 5s, you can go up by 10s. It really is just up to you. You just want to make sure you define what your scale is, right? Every square is going to be a certain number of meters. Now, obviously on this one, way more squares. I know on your guys' printed paper, they may not be printed as clearly. But for these, I think it goes up. I want to say that there are 80 squares. Right, so if you did each square is 1 meter, you'd have a max height of 80. If you did each square is 2 meters, right, you can go up to 160. Again, you can go up by 5s, you can go up by 10s. It is up to you. Now, here's my suggestion, right? Start by defining your scale, right? I'm going to say these go up by 5s. I think I have 30 squares, so I can go up to 130 meters. Right. Right, sorry. Bad math. 150 meters. And before I start drawing my roller coaster, what I want to do is I just want to define 8 different points for my roller coaster. And these are going to be the points I'm going to measure to. I know that my very first point, point A, needs to be my highest hill. So I'm going to say, we'll say it's right here. And then I know that my next point, right, the bottom of the hill, has to be at 0 meters. So it's going to go all the way down there. Right? And then I'm going to need a total of 8 points, so I need 6 more. I can do them at various distances. Again, you can kind of play around with this. And then, once you have your points, you can kind of connect them in a way that's going to make sense. For your roller coasters. So you have a total of 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't necessarily have to be at the very tops of your track or the very bottoms. They can be at various different points. You just need to have 8 points total. Now for me, this is really messy. I would probably go back and do mine again. But just want to kind of give you an idea. Now, in the background, I want to be able to draw a monument. Let's see, my maximum height is 150 meters, so I'm a little bit limited as to what I can choose. It's like I can do the Narrows Bridge, which is about 57. 10, 6. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. All right, so I can draw the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. You guys see how awesome my drawing is. We're gonna make it orange. Now, why is there a roller coaster with a bridge right there? Who knows, right? Well, at least now I kind of have a sense of a scale. My roller coaster is way taller than the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Right. And then I can add some structural supports just to make this roller coaster look like it's not just floating in the air, kind of like the examples. Again, there's no points for pretty, right? You can see in this third example, they just drew some pillar supports just straight down. Right, just kind of keep it simple. Should use a different color. Right. But anyways, that's essentially the goal for today, right? Just get your roller coaster drawn out. All right. Once you've done that, all right, one thing you can do today is you can measure the height of your 8 different points, right? Because you have your scale. You don't necessarily have to label them like this. I'm just doing this for instance, right? On this first page, you can label the height of what they are. 50, 45, 40, 35. All right. And then that will save us a lot of time tomorrow. Okay, at the end of the class, make sure that you are turning in your package. Just turn it into the turn-in tray over on the countertop. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.